views and opinions expressed on this program are those of the hosts, guests, and participants, and do not necessarily reflect the official policies or positions of City World Media, LLC, or its affiliates. All shows are produced with full participant consent. City World Media does not claim ownership of any third-party music featured and uses all tracks only with proper permissions or licenses granted by their respective rights holders. City World Media operates in accordance with fair use and digital broadcast guidelines on all platforms. From my city to your world, we are City World. Thank you for watching.
DJ Rhettmatic, QR code, digital codes encrypted, let the cannon fly. Live from the battlefield, swords and horses. DJ Rhettmatic, QR code, digital codes encrypted. Live from the battlefield, swords and horses. Brooklyn, Los Angeles.
The names Q Unique and Rhettmatic definitely cross in the same circles, especially in underground, indie and DJ culture. But there is no widely documented official duo or long-running partnership branded as Q Unique and DJ Rhettmatic, the way Guru and DJ Premier are known as Gang Starr. What is true is this: DJ Rhettmatic and Q Unique come from overlapping eras and cultural spaces, especially the New York underground and the extended global DJ and MC community. Q Unique has always been respected by DJs and turntablists because his style fits that raw, scratch-heavy boom-bap aesthetic. Crews, shows, festivals, and mutual collaborators create real connective tissue between Q Unique and DJ Rhettmatic, even if the world has not seen a big, heavily promoted joint project yet. So as far as public information goes, the connection is more cultural than officially documented. It is two highly respected figures in underground culture, both with heavy roots in craft-first hip-hop, an MC and a DJ whose sounds and styles would make total sense together on record or on stage.
DJ Rhettmatic, QR code, digital code encrypted. Live from the battlefield, swords and horses. Brooklyn, Los Angeles. DJ Rhettmatic, QR code, digital code encrypted, let the cannon fly. Live from the battlefield, swords and horses.
What's good, what's good, what's goody, man? It's your not so buzzing cousin anymore, GhostBoogie. Check it out, man. Tonight, look, it was a special pop-up. I got to give a big shout out to Q Unique. He has, of course, a new album dropping called QR Code this Friday. And I hit him up and was like, yo, and shout out to Gorilla Strong, was like, hey, man, you got to see if Q will get on. And I texted him and he was like, say less. And he's blessing us with his time. So, you know, Q Unique's history reaches across several chapters of hip hop. He came up through New York's independent scene, joined the Arsonist after connecting with Destroy and the Bushwick Crew. He helped build a group known for sharp writing, live energy, and respect for every element of the culture. His time at Fat Beats New York placed him inside of one of the most important meeting points in underground hip-hop. Artists, DJs, producers, fans, and future leaders of the scene passed through those doors, and Q Unique was not watching the movement from a distance. He was working inside of it, building relationships, learning the business, and developing his own voice. You know, his solo career expanded the story through records such as Vengeance Is Mine, Between Heaven and Hell, Black Coffee, The Mechanic, and Royal Blood. His work with Stillwell alongside Fieldy from Korn and Wub from POD also showed his range beyond traditional rap boundaries without separating him from his foundation as an MC. Now he joins forces with DJ Rhettmatic, a member of the Beat Junkies and Visionaries, for their new album, The QR Code. This connection runs deeper than one recording session. Both artists, share ties to Rocksteady Crew, Fat Beats, DJ culture, touring, and the independent networks which kept hip-hop moving outside of the mainstream. The QR Code brings those histories together through Rhettmatic's production, Q Unique's writing. The album centers originality, accountability, identity, and respect for the standards which shaped both artists. It includes appearances from Pharoahe Monch, Razzcast, LMNO, Esoteric, Sonny Sandoval, Mek Rashan, and other voices connected to their musical history. This is an opportunity to give Q Unique his respect, document the road behind this project, and recognize as an artist whose career has moved through the crews, record store, stages, studios, family loss, growth, and more than 3 decades of hip-hop history. I got to give massive respect to Q Unique for joining us and trusting B-Boys Underground with this conversation. So as always, from the booth to the truth, live, uncut, unfiltered, and raw. We are B-Boys Underground. And let me bring to the stage the one and only Q Unique. What's goody, fam?
Yeah, what's the deal? GhostBoogie, B-Boys Underground, the freshest, son. What's going on?
Yeah. So check it out, man. From the booth to the truth, we are B-Boys Underground. We've got the one and only Q Unique in the house. So we got to give the thank you so much for joining. And shout out to everybody that is in the chat. Basically, we got a ton of folks. We got Gorilla in here. We got C Make It we got C Make It Creative. We've got Jem Alexander, who we had a dope interview with last week. Make sure you check that out too. We've got B-Boys Underground 4 days this week. This is awesome. So, first off, what we always do is ask. We just got done hearing the introduction. That's a little sneak peek on how the album starts off with the QR code. That's the intro. And I love the fact that it starts off with, the history. And what I would love to do is basically you tell us the story behind making that intro, because there's so much information that you share and you drop, and it also sets the tone for this album. And what I also will say is that, another little sneak peek for y'all, there is this continuing thread of a narrative throughout at the end of the tracks, and they kind of segue into one another, but it's those segues, it feels like there's so much intention behind it that you're like setting the record straight in a way.
There is. There's also it's also a salute, a tip of the cap, a love letter to A Tribe Called Quest. The reason why we chose the voice of the computer voice was, and the video that we shot with LMNO as well. When we were doing this album, about 4 or 5 cuts in, I had told Rhett, man, I'm getting Tribe vibes. And it was mostly because of his production meshing with how I put rhymes together.
Yeah.
People are not quite used to me rapping on beats like this, coming from the Vengeance is Mine days. That I guess they're a little more used to the dark, gritty stuff. And not to say that Rhett doesn't bring grit, but he brings a more lighter, neutral vibe. And and for some reason, it had me in my Low End Theory, Midnight Marauders, connection. And so I just said that to Rhett in conversation. I was like, yo, I'm getting Tribe vibes, son. I'm getting Tribe vibes. And he created the whole narrative of the computer talking as if we were on Midnight Marauders. And I was like, oh, that's genius. And then when we shot the video with LMNO, I had my son who directed it just try to do his best to capture the same vibes that they did for a war tour. So if you put a war tour, Tribe Called Quest, and our video, they're similar. Obviously, a war tour with a better budget looks different, but
And what song was that again? What single?
Fire Vision with
Fire
LMNO.
Vision. Yep.
So I that one, once I knew that Rhett was doing the whole computer voice and, tipping the cap to Midnight Marauders, I was like, I want to replicate a war tour and still show. And remember when we spoke last time, I had mentioned that before I was in Arsonist, I was in a group called the Nomads, and one of the producers was Skef Anselm, who, for those that know their hip hop history, worked with a Tribe Called Quest as well as the brand new, and they say his name on We Got the Jazz. And oh shit,
Yes.
Skef Anselm, so he used to produce my demos when I was a kid. So I know Skef really well.
Damn. That's
And
awesome.
so to me, to do, and I'm getting chills because to do something like that, because I've been in, like, I also told the story of how I was in the room while they were doing Lyrics to Go. So to be able to fast forward and do this with Rhett and still show my love and appreciation to these guys just meant a lot. And it wasn't like we were going to copy. It was just more looking at them and just saying, we love you guys,
Yeah, it's like an
But
echo.
Right. And we're going to do what we do,
That's so dope, man. Just to be able, because Midnight Marauders, my God,
Yes.
it is such a
Beautiful album.
It's a beautiful album, but it's also a very how can I say this? It's like when I always say like a cornerstone of hip hop.
Yes.
Because it set the bar. I mean, their albums and look, people, I hate the fact that people discount even Beats, Rhymes, and Life and the Love movement. And when Beats, Rhymes, and Life came out, I'm actually one of the guys that was like, this is fucking amazing.
Yeah, I was playing it over and over again.
Over and over.
Yeah.
Stressed Out is one of my ringtones and also alarm tones because,
Yep.
I mean, that song resonated with me from the beginning and all the way to this point, and it's just, there's so much production on there. And I mean, like, people really didn't start appreciating it until Dilla,
Yeah.
and that, I've heard and seen people, criticize because they put Consequence in the group and they weren't happy about that. And I'm like, I was like, he brought it. He did well. I mean,
especially for tribe vibe, like lyrics and stuff. He fit well. He fit well.
It fit the album. It fit the album. So I mean, I always hated the fact that people discount that, but that Midnight Marauders, definitely, I love it.
Yeah.
I've got a tattoo planned out because I'm going to do a whole bodysuit, like kind of like the triad traditional bodysuit.
Yeah.
And basically the entire bodysuit is going to be things from album covers
That's dope.
that are important to me throughout the entire thing. And there's going to be a ton of Tribe. I've got like a special Tribe piece that's going to be a part of that. And don't nobody out there steal my damn item. Ideas.
The last thing I'll say about Tribe, I was chilling with someone and we were talking about different hip hop groups and we brought up Tribe, and this person said something that had stuck in my brain and I couldn't really confirm. Hold on for a second. No. I couldn't really confirm whether they were right, but they said Tribe Called Quest are the Beatles of hip hop. And I had to think about that. I was like, you might be right about that. I
would agree.
Yeah, it's a heavy statement, but when let's say you just look at the first three albums.
Yeah.
Just in the first three albums alone, the work that they did was like, yo.
All five micers. I mean.
Yeah. It's like, what? How's this even possible? And like De La Soul said, and it's funny, you got De La behind you, and I got De La on my shirt.
I got nothing but native tongues around me, man.
Yeah,
Like
there you
even
go.
I got look, this is right here too. So
There you go. Another beautiful album.
dress, Mr. Long, holler at me.
Beautiful album. When you think about what De La Soul said about Tribe, they said that the thing about Tribe is that they got joints, and it's like that's when I started thinking, you know what? Maybe the Beatles theory isn't that far fetched, because when you look at just the first 3 albums, there are timeless songs. Bonita Applebum, Can I Kick It? You know, Scenario.
Segundo, man.
You just
Like
go through all 3 albums, and you're like, yo, they have some songs that are just timeless. You know how hard it is to do you could have a hit, but to have a timeless song is that's a different level of music. That's like, because you could play Can I Kick It anywhere at any time. You could play Scenario anywhere, anytime.
Apple bomb.
Yeah, and it's like, oh, timeless, not going anywhere.
I mean, Scenario just lights it up too. I mean, like I just, you know, everything that on the Tribe again, and I would agree. And then also, if you think about also when we talk about the love movement and beats, rhymes, and life, people.
Find the Way is my joint, love movement.
Oh my God, yeah. Let me find a way. Yeah,
Oh
man.
my
Like,
God.
yeah, dude. Like, I got goosebumps right now. Like,
Such a good song.
yeah, and like Gorilla said, when I first heard Left My Wallet as a lead-off single, I was like, yo, this is so fucking dope. Like, yo. And shout out to Q-Tip, because, you know, you didn't know it was mysterious, because if you didn't know that, unless you knew, you know what I mean, that he was the one producing and like making all of those beats and stuff like that.
He was
You know,
nasty.
yeah. So I mean, and he still is nasty. I mean,
thought
with
what
the
he did with LL, I thought his LL album, you know, as opposed to, I thought it was dope. I didn't get why people was so like lukewarm about it. I was like, man, just the first 4
and
or
what he
5
did
songs.
with the last De La album too.
Yes.
I mean, and that's because I felt like when I listened to the LL album that came out, I paused it midway, and I was like, man, this is reminding me of the last Tribe album, because I just went into the LL album, played it, and didn't pay attention to any press or anything, and I looked at it and I was like, yes, it's Q-Tip, and I was like, it sounds like a continuation of the last De La album. Those beats were right on pocket, so like, and at the same vibe. I want everybody to play them back to back and tell me, leave it in the comments. Let us know if that's something that resonates with you.
Yeah. So that was the whole premise of that intro, was that Rhett heard what I said, and without telling me, he created. What was beautiful about the album and this intro was that Rhett really stepped up, not as a beat maker, but as a producer. And this is what I mean. When all the songs were done, I just handed it to him, and he sequenced it. He did all of the interludes, the breaks, everything, and he chopped it up where he wanted. And because I've known him for so long, I just let him have his space. I didn't even bother him. I was like, you do your part. I did mine. Now you do your part. And to me, the way he put it all together with the computer voice and everything, to me, it was like perfection. I was very happy.
I mean, he's another dream interview of mine. I've been talking to C-, like, hey man, can you?
I'll let him know. I'll let him know. Yeah, just.
He's such a talented, gifted, you know, turntablist, producer.
And he's a historian. His knowledge of hip hop is insane.
I mean, you guys have shared stories. I mean, he's part of the Zulu tribe. I mean, like, so, you know, basically you and him basically were part of Zulu. You know, he helped create the Beat Junkies, you know,
Visionaries,
all of that, right? So he's been like, since 1983 is what my research always said. Like he started and was active since
Yeah, yeah.
1983. So it's crazy. Like, yeah, he's definitely a historian, and it's ill. You guys both shared history at
Oh,
Fat Beats, you know,
very
from
surreal.
East
The whole
Coast to
thing is
West
surreal.
Coast.
Yeah.
Did you guys, when you guys were working at Fat Beats, you know, I'll say Fat Beats West and Fat Beats East, you know,
Yeah, yeah.
did you guys know each other, and did you guys like meet up that way, or was it basically, tell everybody how you guys met up?
I mean, Rhett says that he and I met in '92 at the Rocksteady anniversary.
Hmm.
That's how he remembers it. I remember it. I think well, we probably did meet, but I think when we started building was when the Arsonists and Visionaries would cross paths
Yeah.
on tour, which was in the mid '90s to late '90s. That's when there was a more familiar, like, oh, that's him, I'm me, let's build. But I think when I was in the Arsonist, which is a weird thing, at that time I was so hyper focused on my crew that I didn't even think about collaborations or anything. And when you look at the Arsonist history, we didn't have features on our albums, and the only time we did feature was for one song with Nonfiction, and then after that, it wasn't really, I was so hyper focused on keeping that thing contained into itself that
Hmm.
it never dawned on me to, hey. So when the prospect of working with Red came, it was so much later in the journey. It was what, 2 years ago when
Yeah.
he and I were sitting with Eclipse, and he gave me some drum loop, and then it spinned into give me a beat, give me this, and it's weird, bro. It's so strange because when you're doing this kind of music, there's a part of you that just wants to be an artist and create and just make a cool song, and
Yeah.
then there's the other part where you're just kind of like you're looking for a strategy that may or may not ever show itself.
Yeah.
And that's where the whole weird way of how social media works, because you got a bunch of people telling you to follow this strategy.
Yes.
But internally, you're looking for a strategy that works best for you for the moment. And for some beautiful, miraculous reason, the universe or God or whatever you believe finally brought two guys that have known each other for decades together through music. And when you really look at it, it's like, this doesn't make sense. You guys should have worked a long time ago. That's one way. And then the other way, you kind of like, no, this makes all the sense in the world because Rhett caught me at a perfect time, perfect time where I wasn't going to be overwhelming to him, or I wasn't going to nitpick, or I wasn't going to get anxious. It was more like, I'm working with somebody I totally respect. And the
Hmm.
more I got to learn, now living here in LA, I got to see who Rhett was for real versus just crossing paths on tour. When you're just crossing paths with people, you just say, hey, what's up? Let's build. And a lot of times it's a lot of empty promises. Yo, let's work, let's work. Everybody says, let's work, let's work. And out here, just like you said earlier, I got to see how he's basically an ambassador here for hip hop. People love that guy and they respect him, and he created this path for himself where, although he'll tell you he's an underdog, and I understand his statement, at the same time he's so loved and respected that it's an honor to be able to do this with him. Period.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's amazing. And, you know, you mentioned the social media aspect of it. And I have always and have been, especially since I'm just trying to grow this brand, um, I feel a lot of pressure to release shorts and reels of this, right? Because I've just
Yes.
focused on getting interviews, and building and working on my journalist side and being able to have dope conversations and learning how to just talk to folks and allowing them to tell their story and what's important to them, because that's what this platform is here for. It isn't just to play music or
Right.
get through shit quick, and drill you with questions. I'm not Panda Chop. I'm not Vlad. I'm not Art of Dialogue. I'm not anyone but me. And
Right.
what I like to do is how I've always made it through life, regardless of in my professional career when I was dealing with CEOs of Fortune 500 companies.
Mm,
I always, when I'm trying to sell them something, how I broke the ice was music.
right.
I always asked them what they liked, what they listened to, and got their perspective on music, right? And why. And this has just kind of always been the way that I've operated, and my children and wife, they know that this
Mm.
is part of me, right? So
Yes, sir.
I feel this insurmountable pressure to do all of this shit that they say you have to do. And it is something that is overwhelming when you're doing it all on your own. And I have fortunately had so many people around me like Gorilla and, Soul Rack and, C-Doc now and Fresh and, Wheeze and Mad Ways and folks around me that have helped, link me up with so many people and get me here. And of course, I've worked my ass off too. But, tell me, with you being that much more elevated above me in regards to you have all of this history and you've been in the game for so long, and you have knowledge, and you have your own podcasts and shows and all these social media, and then you have the album drop. Please, like, what's your take on the social media aspect and what's going on?
I think I learned a valuable lesson years ago when the mixtape craze happened. And it took time to learn the lesson. And that is, we're not all going to see the same results doing the same thing. So I think we got to be careful with either telling or listening to the overall statement of, oh, you got to put content. It's like, yes, you do. But I think you got to go deeper than that. I think that you have to have a reason for it. Like, for instance, you had mentioned you're doing content because you're trying to push your show and all of that. There's a reason there. What I'm seeing, though, is just a whole world of people just putting content for no reason or no strategy. And that's what I think is necessary. What's the strategy behind what you're doing? What is your angle? For instance, here's a crazy story that happened recently. When we were doing a QR code, me and Rhett shot 2 music videos for this album so far. And there's a reason why I'm bringing this up. We only shot 2 videos, Cypha Up and Fire Vision with LMNO. Just 2 music videos. That's it. Prior to this, I was trying to do a video for every song on my album because I thought that was necessary, right? With those 2 music videos that I did for this QR code album, I chopped them up and I ended up doing those 2 videos chopped. Then I did a third one with Rhett, which was only a reel. I did 1 verse to It Only Leads the Way. And then we got some guy to do some weird animation thing for Comic-Con Nerd Shit because people love that song. So now, all I have is these 4 clips at 30 seconds to a minute each. 4, not 80, not 90, not 100, not 20, 4 clips. And you know what I did for months? All I did was rotate the same 4 clips over and over. And what I noticed was every time I rotated them, there were a group of new people saying, whoa, I didn't know this was happening. And so I didn't have to kill myself. I didn't have to come up with 80,000 clips. I didn't have to do something stupid or film a cat chewing a toy, or I just had to be honest where what I was dealing with and kind of like not chase. That's the other thing. I didn't want to chase, because the person that I'm dealing with, Rhettmatic, he doesn't chase. He plays from a place of dignity,
Yeah.
and he paces himself. So as I watched him do that, I said to myself, I prefer his approach than me just jumping out every day like, I gotta get that bag, yo. It's like, no. Listen, if I want to get a bag, I'll go to school and get a job and get a bag. Here I'm an artist. I get paid to be an artist, sure, but the intention is I want you to love my art, not because I'm cramming 80,000 clips because some influencer that I don't know is telling me this, and at the same time he's telling me this, he's telling 100 million other artists to do the same thing, and we're all just running around doing the same thing. It's the shit that I got caught up with the mixtape. Going back to the mixtape, when 50 Cent dropped his mixtape, the word on the street was, you got to do a mixtape. And so all of a sudden, me with 100 million other rappers were doing mixtapes. If you can remember that era.
Oh my God, yeah. I had to have them all.
Right. And when I look back, I said, and what's crazy is, and I think I said this on your show last time, fast forward to like 4 years ago, I pulled all those mixtapes down because I was embarrassed by them.
Right.
Because I was just dialing it in just to keep up with the rest of the rappers. And it's like, no. Hell,
And the energy you were bringing was different than what you really wanted out there.
yeah, I wasn't being an artist now. Now I was being a robot following the crowd. And it's like, no, that's not who I am. I'm not that guy. I don't care about the mixtape world like that. And I don't really care about the social media world like that. You know what I mean? It's like, I care about human interaction. I care about people's souls and their happiness and their joy. I don't care to like, just try to find a new way to sell you something. Because I didn't get into this to be a salesman. I got into this because God chose me to learn a craft. I learned it, and I do it just like all of the other people that I rub shoulders with. And so it just feels awkward to me to get up every day and think content, and not think song. Write a good song.
Yeah.
And then you could figure out how to present it to the world. That is what I think artists are kind of like missing the point almost. It's like, wait a minute, we're supposed to be songwriters first, and then you could figure out your little strategy of how you want to participate in social media. But I think that might be watering down some of the music that we're hearing, or it might be dulling it.
Yeah.
Where artists are kind of like splitting their attention between, I got to write the song, but then I got to come up with this clip for 30 seconds to a minute. So sorry about the tangent. It's just, it's a weird subject.
No apologies.
Because I saw this kid talking and he was like, yeah, sure, they're telling people to do content, but they're leaving out a big word. And I was like, what's that? They said, strategy.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah. That's never mind, that's a big word. It's an important word.
Yeah.
What's the point of you doing content if you don't have an album coming out, or if you don't have something for people to look forward to? What's the point? So you can get likes?
That's it.
What does that do?
I mean, that is what it is. And I guess, also the thing that when they have that strategy is the fact that they're trying to push the algorithm, and the algorithm, wants and demands that. All of the studying that I've done is like, you've got to put something out every day, so the algorithm knows that this is a channel or something that it'll refer. Yeah.
But the fact is, and I could be wrong, but I heard a CEO talking, and he said the algorithm is not meant to be understood ever.
True that.
That's the way it's designed, so that we keep on feeding it and we think it's going to be coming to us. But even some of the biggest shows have dips, and they're puzzled like, what just happened? It's because the algorithm just doesn't have a conscience. It doesn't care. It just moves the way it's designed. Because the truth is, let's say this. if we all followed the 10 steps of victory, we're all going to do 90 pieces of content. We're going to do it exactly how they tell us to do it. We're going to do all of these long form videos, verticals, whatever have you. And that should get us all 100% of us should have love from the algorithm. And the truth is, none of us have that kind of love from the algorithm like that. None of us. And so that's where, to me, it becomes a little kooky. It's like, wait a minute. If we're chasing something that's not meant to be understood, and we're all feeding these machines with our work, then what are we really looking for here? And that's when I that's when I was like, even with Red, I was like, you know what? I'm just going to limit it to these 4 clips and see what happens. And you know what happened? We're getting love for the album, whether it was 4 clips or 1 clip, because people are just happy that 2 hip-hop guys figured, hey, let's do a hip-hop album together and let's see what happens. And it's been love. And I didn't need 90 clips to get that. I didn't need 90 clips to get attention. It just took good intention, pure intention. I just wanted to be an MC, and Rhett wanted to make beats and cut. And that was it. Honest.
You know, there was something that I learned a long time ago in sales training and communication training, and it's so true, that there's this thing called the golden silence, right? So when you're in sales meetings or you're in any type of business meetings and you're talking to people, you don't want to just hammer, talk. The less is more, and the golden silence is basically you make a statement or a question and you just shut up. And you know, you let the pause happen, and that pause creates weight in what you just said. Right?
Yes, sir.
It gives people time to process what you just said, but also it draws people in to fill in the silence, whereas you don't have to talk as much, right? So you will have people talking for you or answering your question or adding on to your statement. So golden silence is everything. So I'm thinking about like what your strategy was with those clips, and then also what you had mentioned about like, let's go opposite of what the algorithm is because, you know, quality over content, like Gorilla had mentioned in the chat. And I that's also absolutely one of my things. It's like, I don't want to just put out trash. Like I want it to be right, you know? So, you know, there's a question from Gorilla. He says, how was the scheduling at each release? You know, how did it happen? Who decided which one got dropped first? Thank you for your question, Gorilla.
Thank you, Gorilla. I wanted to go with the first song I wrote, which was Cypha Up, and because there was an epiphany that I had when I wrote that song, and that was, you know, we come from that era, and the one thing that stood out when, you know, sometimes when you look at the eras, you look at the foundation of it, right? And you're like, well, what made this era great? And so my favorite era is the crack era. It just is. KRS, Kane, Rakim, Bismarck, Cool G Rap, the Juice Crew, you know, all of that.
Mid to late 80s, yeah.
Yeah, I love that era. You know, it was when I was just, I was rapping, but I was more of a fan because those guys were superheroes to me. They were just like immortals. They were like Greek gods and goddesses with MC Light and all of them, you know? So,
oh my God, yes.
So when I went back to look at it as I was writing this song, I was like, when I went back to look at it, I was like, what is it about this? And then I looked at where I'm at today. I was like, you know what's missing here? The Nation of Islam, the 5% Nation of Islam. And I'm not from the Nation of Islam. I'm not a 5%, I'm none of that. I just respect, because what I remember, and you had brought it up with Public Enemy, because some of their teachings is from Islam and from the Nation of Islam.
KRS One too.
Right. and the Brand Nubians and so on and so forth.
Absolutely. King's Son.
Rakim Shabazz, King's Son, Big Daddy Kane, Rakim. They all spitting God body stuff. So to me, when you look at hip hop today, what one of the things that's missing is their presence.
Yeah.
And when I thought about it, I was like, wow, that's crazy. When you take their presence out, the consciousness, the volume of the consciousness
went away.
Got low. Got really low. It's like, whoa, what just happened? There was a bunch of people spitting knowledge of self, each one teach one, and now it's just bars or whatever else. I'm not going to judge, whatever. Yeah. But so when I saw that, Cypha Up just beamed out of me, and I was pointing it out to somebody. I even talked some, I twisted some of the mathematics where I say knowledge God 17. I say it at the end of each verse, which means knowledge is 1, God is 7, 17, put 1 and 7 together and make 17. 17 is the letter Q, the 17th letter of the alphabet. That's me. And so I was working it the way a Rakim or Kane would work it, like being clever with the mathematics in order to get to what I want to say. And I wanted to step out with that first just to salute and tip my cap to the entire Nation of Islam and the 5% Nation of Islam, being a hip hop vet and knowing their importance in one of the most important eras to ever happen. That era is people don't understand. That era is a necessity in order to have Wu-Tang, Nas, J-Rule, Gangstar, all of them. You need Boogie Down Productions, the Juice Crew, Eric B. and Rakim. You need that because they shifted everything. People don't realize before that it was Run DMC, Melly Mel and them, and then you hear Rakim and you're like, what just happened?
Yes,
they changed everything.
Shifted gears, just bam.
Like a massive shift. Not even a slight, it was massive. And part of that was the Nation of Islam. And so Cypha Up. And then as far as scheduling releases, I was at first, like I said, I thought I was gonna go at it like Attack. We're gonna release a song every month. And then, I could see Rhett was more like, why? And that made me look at it like, yeah, why? Why am I following what everybody else is doing? Why? Okay. And so we just ended up releasing 4 of the 11 instead. Cypha Up, Fire Vision, It Only Leads the Way, and Comic-Con Nerd Shit.
Yeah.
That was it. Real simple.
And they were all so strong, and has definitely generated a tremendous amount of interest into the project and anticipation and waiting, which is kind of like the golden silence, right? You put that out there and then bam, let's wait.
We got quiet. Yeah.
You guys got to wait. And you no longer have to wait because the waiting is almost over. How much kind of pressure, like how much pressure has it been for you with everything that you're juggling? I mean, you just got off of your acting class, and that's the reason why we were starting and we were waiting, just because you had other obligations and stuff like that, and you were still humble enough because you could have just said, "Nah, fam, I'm done for the night," and you still decided to bless us, and I appreciate that, but. How much pressure have you felt to get to the finish line where you're at right now?
That is an amazing question. Wow. There were moments of mass amounts of pressure because I'm a dual genre artist, right? So I do rock and I do rap. I do right now. I have a project called Mother Fuzz for the rock stuff, and I got this thing with Q and Rhett. I think some of the pressures came from weird places, like I couldn't get Mother Fuzz to ramp up as much as what I do as Q Unique. So that's more of a personal pressure because I'm trying to figure out this Rubik's Cube of when I do rock and making it kind of get on the track and move forward. And then, so when I turned to the Q and Rhett thing, I think the only pressure I felt with that was going to, the bigger pressures were like asking Pharoahe Monch to be a part of it. You know, that was a mountain of a pressure moment, because
he's so fucking awesome, man.
first of all,
love Pharoahe Monch.
he's top 5, top 10. Anybody disagrees is tripping. He's just ridiculous. He's an alien to me. He doesn't make sense. And the pressure came because you start to measure yourself against these people, which is a mistake. You shouldn't, but you can't help it.
Right.
You know, it's like standing next to a Rakim. I equate Pharoahe to that. He's that level to me. Rakim, KRS, Pharoahe, Nas. I mean, other people have said it. Jay-Z has said his name. You know, so many people have said Pharoahe Monch and saluted him. And so I don't want to ever devalue myself. I think that's bad. But when you're standing next to somebody like that, you can't help but feel some sort of way, like, man, this is a strange feeling. So just asking him felt like I was tiptoeing to the principal's office. You know, I was like, man, I'm about to ask one of the greatest to join me on something.
Did you have a working relationship, or had you known him personally?
I've toured with Pharoahe, and I've known Pharoahe for a long time, and
Gotcha.
we've
So,
always
but you
been
still
cool.
felt that pressure.
Yes, because at the end of the day, he's still Pharoahe, you know. And I'm confident in my abilities. I'm confident about who I am, but I don't have the ego that a lot of MCs have, where they're like, I'm the best no matter where you put. I don't have that. I don't have that as a rocker or a rapper. I'm confident to do what I gotta do, but I never, these days, maybe in my youth, I'd be like, yo, I'm the illest and whatever have you. I'm aware of my skill set, but when I'm next to people like that, I'm humbled by their presence. And it's, you know, that's what it is. I'm humbled by his presence. I'm humbled at the fact that he decided to work with us. And not only did he work with us, but he gave us a 30-bar verse, which is
Bananas.
Which is mind-blowing. It's like,
hey, y'all,
where
he
did we
spazzes
just
out.
go? Yeah, it's like, where did we just go? And he's a man of few words. I've known Pharoahe, like I said, I've DJ'd for Pharoahe. While he did his performance, I put on his instrumental. That's how deep. And so to know him for so long and know from back then in the 90s till now, he's always been a man of few words. It's also like offsetting. It's like off-putting. You're like, I don't know what to say. I wanna have a conversation, but he's so quiet that I'm gonna shut the fuck up. You know, it's like, it's like I don't want to disturb him. And so it's a funny story. You know, me and Rhett, so I wrote the song Comic-Con Nerd shit before my verse. And then me and Rhett were like, all right, I sent it to Rhett, and we were like, all right, who do we get? And we both, Pharoahe. And we were both scared of it. We had the thought, but we were scared of the thought. And it was almost like, you do it. No, you do it. No, you do it. No, you do it. And then finally I was like, fuck it, I'll get at him. And so I ask him, and he does the responsible thing. He's like, I love what you did, bro, because I sent them. I knew with him, you have to send him the work finished. You can't mess with a guy like that. You have to give him the work finished. You can't just be, hey, give me a hot 16, the Pharoahe Monch. That's a stupid approach. Give him the work, give him the direction. So I knew I was saying something up his alley, because if you follow him, he does 1 million videos on action figures. He's a collector.
Yeah.
So I knew I was going for it. And he was like, I love it. Let me see. I'm kind of busy. So as soon as he said that, I had like 2% confidence that he was going to do anything. And I told Rhett the same thing. I was like, he said he has to check. And then once he got back at Rhett and said, send me the beat loop for 6 minutes, me and Rhett were like, holy shit, we are on the verge. And then this is where it just goes surreal. Mr. Complex, who was a friend of all of us, but above all of us, he was very close with Pharoahe. They grew up together. When Mr. Complex passed away, first of all, it was heartbreaking because I've known Plex from the 90s. We've toured, we've done all of that together. He was a great dude.
Yeah.
When he passed, obviously you feel pain, but then I felt bad for Pharoahe. And then on top of feeling bad for Pharoahe, I was like, oof. Asking him to do a verse just doesn't have that same feeling anymore. You know, now I'm feeling compassion. So I left him alone for about a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden I get the text. Hey, bro, check it out. And you know what he does? He doesn't send me a recorded verse. He types out his lyrics. I'm getting emotional. He types out his lyrics and texts them to me and says, tell me what you think. What? Huh?
Yeah.
I've always thought you were different, but now, homie, you just took it to a different, like, huh? I've worked with a lot of rappers. I've worked with Capadonna. I've worked with the
list goes on and on.
Nobody has ever texted me their typed out lyrics to see what I thought.
Yeah.
Pharoahe did, which sets him apart from the entire class. And I texted to Rhett like, yo, what just happened? And he's like, yo, what? And we're dumbfounded. We're dumbfounded by it. Because not only is he a lock to be on it, but he sends me the lyrics typed. And I have to read them. And I will never forget this moment for the rest of my life because to me, as I said, we're talking about one of the greatest lyricists who has verses that are his verse on the Bring It On remix is fucking
face melting.
Just you can't even be getting more graphic. Neo Geo, it's like, where are you going, bro? Follow me, I'm shaping you're burning like all over the track. It's like, where are you going? What are you doing? So I'm sorry that I went on a tangent. But
no, this is what we're here for.
That moment alone for this album, I remember me and Rhett were like two children. Once we got his acapellas and we set it to the track, we were just like, this just happened. And it's because you and I decided to do an album that this just happened. Because I've heard the stories of Pharoahe saying no to people. I know. He's very particular, man. That's a serious lyricist.
Yeah.
That he's not doing 90 pieces of content. He's not trying to get your like. He's being Pharoahe.
Yeah. You know, I'm looking at my son in the background, coming up here, going into one of the rooms. And one of the things is that Pharoahe Monch is very much someone that they might both, I have twins, I got a son and a daughter. When I'm driving, sometimes I spaz out and like play music and go and like, you know, if you remember seeing that guy, that would like have his son and would like, you know, knock the cereal out of his
Yeah.
He
was awesome.
I one of my theme songs songs that I play during when I'm having one of my surgeries is Get the Fuck Up, you know, Simon Says.
Yes, sir.
And like, but I play that and like my kids automatically know when that comes on, if it's on like, cause it's on like every single one of my playlists is that dun 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 dun, and all of a sudden they're like, Dad's about to start driving crazy and like grabbing and like spazzing out and acting like a gorilla inside the truck, you know what I mean? And they're like, oh, Simon Says, get the fuck up, you know what I mean? And so they know that song and shit, and when I play it, they're like, Dad's about to start spazzing, you know. It's just, it's such such an amazing song. I mean, Simon Says, and like as one of the, you know, mainstream introductions to Pharoahe, you know.
Pharoahe.
I mean,
I feel like it still flew over people's heads. And what's crazy about you saying that is that I've used the Bring It On remix to educate casual rap fans, where they'll be like, oh, this guy is great. And I'll be like, you want to hear great? Sit down. Let me play you this. And I'll point out shit so that they understand. Because, for instance, I'll give you an example. I'll be with a bunch of rock people who don't, you know, some of them are not really aware of how rap works.
Yeah.
So they'll pick a commercial rap and say, that's how rap works. And I was like, no, that's not how rap works. That's a result of rap, but that's not how it works. It can go in so many different directions. And I'll bring up a serious guitar shredder like Yngwie Malmsteen, right? Like he's the illest, one of the illest. And I'll say, you see this guy? Now listen to this guy and understand that what that guy Yngwie does, Pharoahe does lyrically. And then I'll play the Bring It On remix and sit them and point out to them how this guy is using all the facets of the syllables and the space of the bar count and how he's constructing and twisting and turning words. Not just going bat, pat, cat. He's just taking you on this insane ride in one verse, in one 16-bar verse. He's taking you through a series of syllable rides. And he's shredding the way Yngwie shreds on the guitar. He's shredding verbally, vocally, and making people understand how far a person could go with rhyming. And he's always been my prime example. And that's why working to be able to say, I did this with this guy, this lyrical god, is it's still crazy to process for me. That at this point in my career, because you mentioned it, 30 years and Arsonist and, you know, albums and tours and nonfiction and all of this, and I've arrived and here I am so many years after, and this happens. And it's like, first of all, it tells you, never give up, kids. Ever. Because this collaboration didn't happen for me in the 90s when I knew Pharoahe. Didn't happen for me when I was doing tours with Pharoahe. Didn't happen for me when I put out other solo albums. It happened to me now.
Yeah.
With Rhettmatic as my co-pilot. Never give up, because you just don't know how shit is going to unfold. And I'm thankful, because I've said this on your show before, I've had those crossroad moments where I'm like, am I still doing this? Am I still going to do this?
Yeah. And that in itself is, you know, that's that inner voice that if you let win, will destroy you. Those negative self-talks and those that doubt.
Weird.
Yeah,
yes.
You can't give in.
You can't.
You know?
No. You have to be resilient. You have to fight against it, because you will miss out. I mean, look, not only did we get Pharoahe, but to put the balance in coasts, we got Rascass.
I was getting ready to go there.
It's like, yo, when Rhett suggested that, he just added to the pressure, because we just finished. So we got the verse from Pharoahe, we finished, we got it mixed, and then he's like, all right, Rascass. And I'm like, man, hold up, bro, my heart, bro. It's like, yeah.
All in the Mind is sick. Like, did you guys have that song first and then submit the Rascass like you did Pharoahe?
No,
or so tell how that happened.
With Ras, it was like, you know, with Pharoahe, it was like, all right, I wrote something that I know is a part of his love, his passion. He loves comic book stuff. Perfect. With Razzcast, it was like, wait a minute. Okay. Again, I have to come up with something that, because this is not a guy that you go, give me a Hot 16. You don't do that. This is another guy that's top 5, top 10. You cannot argue this. These are guys that put so much emphasis on pure lyricism that you cannot mess around. So I did have bits and pieces of a concept of the process of mind and thought and all of that. And as soon as he said Razzcast, I was like, that's the guy that I have to gather my thoughts and go all in the mind, because this is a very cerebral person. This is a person that when you listen to their lyrics, you have to think about what he's saying, man. At least,
yes, sir.
And you got to replay it a few times because you're going to miss shit. This guy is not for the weak of brain. This guy is very serious. So I was like, okay, we're going mental with Razzcast. And again, I'm getting emotional. It's like to be able to be blessed with the balance of coastal lyrical gods, and I'm in the middle. Like, all right, I get to enjoy the ride with arguably two of the greatest. What else? What else do you say to that? You know what I mean? And it doesn't discredit or discount Esoteric, because he is a god in his own right in what he does. LMNO to me is somebody I've respected for decades.
LMNO's crazy too.
Mech Rashawn, Mr. Mech, coming from the QM5 dudes, all of them dudes was ridiculous, and they still are. And excuse me, I'm before I forget anyone, Sonny Sandoval, who stepped up and fit perfectly with what we were doing, and he spit. And I'm actually the one singing on the track. It's not even him. And so, you know, to be able to work with all of these people and kind of like change the narrative on who I am, because a lot of these people are unexpected when it comes of a checklist of who will Q work with. I know nobody was thinking LMNO. I know no one is thinking Pharoahe Monch or Razzcast. Nobody's thinking that. And that's the other beauty of this list of people, is that it's a group of people no one would have ever predicted. Ever.
Yeah. You know, just you speaking about this album and the collaborations, you know, it feels like, to me, and listening to it, you know, and the tracks and the lyrics, everything, this is probably one of your most vulnerable and also one of your most, your projects that you've put the most passion and thought into.
I think there are, I think, yes. And what I will add is, I'm about to when I don't know if it was in the beginning or towards the end, I felt like I'm about to have a real hip hop moment here.
Yeah.
You know,
it is,
not to discount, not to take away anything from my,
absolutely,
you know, what I did with Jake Palumbo was magical, and you know, Vengeance Is Mine with Ill Bill was insanely great, and all of those albums are great. Working with Brown Bag All Stars, all of them. This working with Rhett was a massive. It was a big shift, big change, and it was the first time that I thought, I'm about to have a hip hop moment here. This is a real hip hop moment, and not. It's kind of, I don't know if people understand what I mean by it. It doesn't take away from my other bodies of work, or even The Arsonist, which is arguably one of the most illest albums that I'm a part of.
Yes.
As the World Burns, you know, but you know, after all of these years, to be able to say I'm having another hip hop moment says a lot.
Yeah, and especially in a time and age where it is definitely needed. And I love the fact that our elder statesmen are all stepping up and proving that hip hop is very much in the gold school, and like what adult contemporary hip hop you know, and the ageism and all of the stuff that people are trying to put out there.
Yes.
Like, nah, man, like hip hop, you got to go back to the foundation, and the
Yes, sir.
foundation is what holds up all of the subgenres, and the
Yes.
foundation is still alive. It's still
Yes.
thriving, and it's so beautiful to have the people that you have on this album.
Yes, sir.
Again, LMNO, Mech, you know, Esoteric, Sunny, Pharaoh, Razcast. The list is just, you've got everyone on here that, and then just to hear the stories behind them and knowing how much each of them and those collaborations meant to you, because sometimes, especially in the days now where everybody's got to have a collab, and
Yeah.
it feels very bought and sold, or they're buying
Enforced. Enforced.
yeah, just to be whatever, right?
What's
And
the point?
these,
Yeah, you kind of like look at it sometimes like, what was the point of that?
right, and
Yeah.
then knowing that how much there's so much, you know, appreciation and how much it means to you
Oh, I
behind the
mean,
tracks, amazing.
I could go even deeper. It's like when I look at each one of them, like let's go back to Esoteric for a second.
Yeah,
What he built with Czarface is
fucking
bananas to me.
dope.
It's the most craziest thing I've ever seen because I'm sure in his mind probably felt at times people might have counted him out prior to the Czarface thing or
Hmm.
whatever. And to see a friend, somebody that I admire, create their entire platform of things that they love and they're passionate, from comic books and action figures and great music and working with Inspector Deck. And I've told him this a million times. It's like, man, he is an inspiration. It's what he has done is brilliant. It's just genius. I can't like, and it just goes to show you, when you have the intention to stand off on your own and just do your own thing, it could be scary,
Hmm.
but what he's done is just genius to me. There's nothing else like Czarface,
Yeah,
and it's
it's art.
genius.
It's art.
Yeah. Yes.
It's true art. Like, you know what I mean? It's like you can put that in the Louvre, you know, if there was a
Yes,
hip hop
it's
Louvre,
yeah, it's
right?
ridiculous. It's
Yeah.
that insane to me. It's like, wow, this guy's got a whole planet to himself.
The
Period.
universe, galaxy, you know, like the
It's
Marvel
wild.
universe, it's the
It's wild.
Czarface universe. Yeah.
It's an amazing thing. But yes, and I love that you pointed out about how I feel about these collabs, because the other thought process was I didn't want to uh, repeat collabs. There
Mm.
are a lot of dudes that I've collaborated with multiple times through the years, and I love them, but I knew that I had to be smart about who was going to be a part of this first chapter here with me and Rhett.
So, hey, look, I mean, it I like what you said though. You said first chapter. That even
I
but
was
wait,
trying to
there's
sneak that one
more.
by you.
But wait, you ain't gonna sneak shit by me anymore. Look, I don't smoke
Funny.
weed anymore. It's been since
Word up.
413. I'm embracing a break. I don't have anything against it, but I just am
Yes,
taking a
sir.
moment
I
to
got you.
be present, especially during my health challenges. It's like I want to be
Yes,
here
sir.
for my wife and children and enjoy this
Of
moment
course.
and not spaz out. But I want to get into some music, and so what the tracks that I picked, and you approved it for me to
Yes, sir.
play. I want to say thank you, and these are the tracks that, not saying any of the other ones, because of course the other ones that you had put out there, they're already out there,
Yes,
and
sir.
I asked you, but there's a couple of them that really have hit me, especially in my journey where I'm at right now, and I'm looking at them as just being exposed to them today. I
Right.
mean, I took a nap and meditated on this album and had it on loop,
Thank you.
right? And one of the first ones that you gave us was Success, and the way
Hmm.
that you spell it is SUCK CESS. Tell me the story about that before we play it. And give everybody, as I always say, for the people that have heard the song a million times or hearing it for the first time, which is now, give them, set the table for them and give them some insight and some stories behind this song and the why.
In my career, the surreal part of it is having to work with artists bigger than myself. So, I've mentioned, I've toured with some big bands in my career.
Yes.
I've written for some big pop groups and things of that nature. And the one thing that stood out right away was that no matter how successful a lot of these people were, because I was there behind the scenes, I could see how bad their personal situations were and how their behavior didn't help to adjust their bad situations. And so you're sitting there and you're like, with all of this success that these people have over me, personally, I'm way more, and I've had one of these big band guys. I remember, here's a story. One time I was in a room. Actually, I was on a tour bus. And I'm sitting there. I was on tour with Korn. And I'm sitting there, and there's two guys from Korn. There's a big rapper, another big rocker. These are all people that have sold millions of records, were way more famous than I was. And I'm sitting there in the middle of this. And my first response was I was bummed out because I'm sitting there and I'm like, all of these guys have something that I don't have. They have a level of success that I've never seen before. They have the platinum plaques, they have the big houses, they have all of these things that I've never seen. I've seen it in a sense of seeing theirs, but I've personally never acquired these things. So I was bummed out. I don't know why I let it get to me. I felt like I wasn't in their elite club. And so when everybody left, I was there with Fieldy, who's one of my best friends from Korn, the bass player.
Mad love the Fieldy, man. He's so dope.
And so I told him how I was feeling because we're brothers. And I was like, yo, man, I couldn't help but feel a little bummed out. And I told him exactly what I just told you. I'm in this room and everybody's, and he goes, man, you know what sucks about that? Q, you actually have your family intact. So, and your family loves you and the people around you love you. So I'd probably say that you are in fact actually the more successful guy in the room because everybody else is struggling with their personal lives. Everybody, every successful person you saw on that bus has terrible situations at home. So what good is all of this? And it shut me down. And so I held what he said, and that he said to me years ago. So when we approached this, me and Mech were talking, and he was like, what do you want to spit about? And I was like, you know what? I want to talk about, because he's around, guys like Busta Rhymes. He works with big artists. He's interviewed big artists for the Math Hoffa show. So he's around a lot of big rappers.
Yeah.
And so I was like, let's build on this, the reality of success, the truth about it. Because what you grow to learn is success just means success. It doesn't mean happiness. If you look it in the dictionary, the word success doesn't have the word happiness in the definition. And people are misled by it. They think if I'm successful, I'm great. I'm going to be beaming. I'm going to be happy. And it's like, I'll give you one horror story. I've had a very successful artist was on the road, and he was like, yo, I want to share something with you. And I was like, what's up? And this is a guy who has sold millions of records. He goes, yo, I just found out that my son is not my son, and that my wife had an affair while I was on tour, and the kid that I thought was my boy is not my boy. And when he told me that, out of pure instinct, I looked at him and I said, all your money doesn't mean shit, does it? I couldn't help it. It just bubbled out of me. Because it was the first thing I thought. I was like, all the money in the world couldn't stop that. All the platinum plaques, the money, the cars, the mansions, the planes, the headlining tours, none of it means shit for your situation.
Yeah.
At all. How could you even enjoy it? And so, knowing these things, I spoke to Mech. He clearly understood because he knows his stories. And we just went for it and just tried to, not tried, we were being as honest as we possibly could from our perspectives of being veterans in this system and watching really successful people go through some of the most terrible personal situations. Terrible. And that's why that song was important, is just to let people know, hey, man, before you start chasing this thing that you think you want, make sure you understand what we're talking about. Shaq just put up a clip where he's talking to his son. His son wants to play basketball. And he straight up tells his kid, you don't need to play because I lost my family playing basketball, trying to be great. Which is the craziest statement a father could tell his son. He said it. And he tells his son, how many birthdays did I miss? He goes, a lot. How many holidays did I miss? How many times did you just not see me at home? And his son was sullen. He wasn't even smiling. He was like, a lot. He's like, make sure you understand what you're asking. But he tells his son, make sure you understand what you're asking for, because the sacrifice is insane. Success.
And personally, you telling this story has got me like shook because it resonates so much with me, coming from a meager background and doing everything that I could to put myself in a position to gain success in a professional life. In a professional manner. I even look at my kids and, it took me dying twice. And the second one was when I finally got it locked in. But I allowed the stress of chasing the bag and trying to become, as high up in corporate world that I could in leadership. And I look back, how your phone, like if you got an Apple phone, it goes through all your pictures and it, like on this day you have the moments and all of that stuff, and I'll be in the picture, and my children, my young children will be in the picture. And hence the reason why I took a break, like a sobriety break with cannabis, was because I didn't want to not be there and not be present, because I had so much stress that it gave me kidney cancer, and because if you don't know, they have even proved it medically and scientifically that stress is the leading cause of renal cell carcinoma. And I lost my left kidney in 2020.
Sorry, bro.
Oh, no. I'm not saying this to boo-hoo. I'm
No,
saying
I know.
this
No.
like,
I get it.
let everybody know, like, please stop stressing over shit that doesn't matter, man. Because at the end of the day, when I got sick, I got fucking laid off. And I made this company fucking millions. I made the company millions of dollars. I mean, I was a leader and I led amongst my other peers. I was, and it was a great deal of stress and I was not present. even though because I was trying to make sure I could provide for my children, but I wasn't providing for them in the way that I actually wanted to show up as a father, show up as a husband, and show up as a, the
creating moments, man.
Yeah,
creating
and that's all it is. That's all it is. And right now, financially it fucking sucks, but guess what? None of that money even matters compared to the time that I'm spending with my children, the connection and the actual moments that I have present, like even in the bittersweet times, like I'm appreciating and I'm gratitude that are gracious, grateful to be here for them. So again, that's a reason why Success is what we're getting ready to play now for you. And, again, great fucking album. And this is an amazing song. Y'all are about to get blessed, y'all, with the song Success. So check this out.
But as you grow, you lose certain homies because it's called closing the gap. This is the gap when we started. This is the gap as you grow. Notice how you grow and they don't. So how do you close the gap? You gotta come back.
Alright, fuck it, let's talk about it. Okay, so wait a minute. Being cool is free, but you pay to rent it. And wear misery on your sleeve like it's laser printed. Them little karma points you see, you can't wait to spend it. Wildin' all the time. The why? That's gonna take a minute. And you can be offended, but you can't be honest though. Buck up your ass, turn up your nose like the finest blow. Shit got you gassed, demanding pass, sounding kinda slow. Attitude trash, time to go, long time ago. Man of the people, why you treating yours foul? You always been a dick, or did that just kick it now? Is it money and the fame molding you? Or exposing you? Drugs got you high, but folks close to you, over you. Impatient, obnoxious, toxic, can't take it. King, where's your conscience? Hard to help and hard to like, dog, forget it. Success ain't caused this pivot, bitch, you did it.
They say pride comes before the fumble. That's why I try to stay on the humble. Son, let's connect. I make friends reluctantly. Cause and effect. Cause misery loves company. They say pride comes before the fumble. That's why I try to stay on the humble. Son, let's connect. I make friends reluctantly. Cause and effect. Cause misery loves company.
With fear of success means the failure is greater, right? If you succeed, the failure could be wild. The fall down could be much further down.
I seen success turn a man into a demon. Possess, turn a humble soul into a heathen. Neglected his children for the popularity. Addicted to any substance to stop the clarity. He made excuses, became abusive. Eventually hung himself, decisions turned to nooses. I try to help him rise from the rubbish, but you know what it is, no good deed goes unpunished. I seen the same man hit rock bottom. Past the expiration date, his shit got rotten. Try to live a lifestyle he can no longer afford. Became a bad spectacle, he's no longer adored. He used to pray to heaven, now I watch him follow hell. Full of so much potential, now he's just a hollow shell. God-given talent became fame waste. Careful how you judge it, we can end up in the same place. They say pride comes before the fumble. That's why I try to stay on the humble. Son, let's connect. I make friends reluctantly. Cause and effect. Cause misery loves company. They say pride comes before the fumble. That's why I try to stay on the humble. Son, let's connect. I make friends reluctantly. Cause and effect. Cause misery loves company.
Time is money, kid, and BS walks. Time is money, kid, and BS walks. Time is money, kid, and BS walk. Time is money, kid, and BS walks.
Q Unique is an underground hip-hop artist and producer from New York City, best known as a member of the group The Arsonists. If you listen to his solo work in order, you can hear a narrative arc. In the early solo phase, he is angry, wounded, raw, and proving himself outside the Arsonists. In the middle phase, he is more reflective, processing the past and trying to live with it. In the later work, he is still gritty, but more self-aware, with a grown man perspective, accepting who he is and where he came from. He is one of those MCs where you do not just hear skill, you hear life in the voice. His discography really plays like chapters of his autobiography.
Yo, y'all, I told you I told you. I told you, man. Like, we gotta get that one of those and like, yeah.
You know what's
Yeah.
crazy? I was listening to the computer voice, right? And
Yeah.
I had nothing to do with that. Rhett did that whole thing. And I want to say this because it just kind of shows you the kind of person that Rhett is. One day we were talking, and he said, you know, that part of the reason why I'm doing this with the UQ is because I think more people need to hear you. Like it was weird because usually when you do projects, nobody's really thinking of the other. Everybody thinks for themselves, and you know, rapping could be a very selfish thing. And for him to say something like that, it was like no one has ever said that to me. Like I've been in big groups. Maybe Ill Bill was the closest because, you know, he put up his money and believed that I should have been a solo artist. But then you fast forward and Red is like, I'm doing this because I think people need to know who Q Unique is. And it was just wild that he said, wildly amazing, but just I didn't expect it. Just to show you the kind of character he is.
Yeah, I mean, that is true. I can tell you, like, you know, hip hop and the whole bravado of, you know, how you traditionally approach things is definitely of that mindset where I'm the man, you know, or, you know, I'm the person that I'm the shit. And I hear that nonstop as I've interviewed, you know, greats, legends, and also, you know, folks up and coming. And and you have to believe that in yourself, and you have to also have that mindset to put yourself in there because you are in competition. It's war at sometimes, you know, to be heard, to be seen, to be, you know, to break through and to get the algorithm to pay attention. You know, you got to have that. But, you know, as I'm learning in my mental health journey, and again, I say it every episode, one of my favorite songs, got to go back to my funk roots and shout out to Steve Arrington and the group Slave. Nobody can be you but you. And if you be yourself and be vulnerable and be genuine, that's what's most important. Because if you are biting, or, you know, you're putting on a mask, or you're putting on a persona, you get exposed.
Yes, you do. Eventually, it all falls down. Falls down.
Yeah, man. So I got to say thank you so much for allowing me to play that on
let me say something about B-Boys on the Ground and what you do. Now, when I come across somebody that does something like this, but they understand the culture the way you understand the culture. They have a knowledge of the history. They understand intention. They understand what's going on. You, to me, become important. That's why when you text me earlier, I was like, I got to give him the album because his input and output are important to what we're doing. I'm not just looking at it like, oh, I got to promote my shit. I don't move like that anymore. I put out enough albums to not concern myself that way. It's more of, all right, like I said, I'm having a real hip hop moment here. Here's a person that is and knows real hip hop. So yes, here, marinate on this before we talk, so that you have the keys to what we just did. And I like to hear your perspective because, you know, when you write a song, all I have is my perspective. And so to get real hip hop heads, not some casually listening music person, that's fine and cool and all, but when a real hip hop head listens, they're gonna say what they're really absorbing here, and you're one of them. And so it was very, as soon as you said, yo, we're gonna do this today, it's like, here you go, here's the album, let's talk, because you're one of them. So B-Boys on the Ground, your show is very important, and I know that, and I respect that. So salute.
I don't know. I you know how you said sitting in that room, and you it, you got me speechless, and I'm a person
Ah,
that
that's
won't shut the fuck up. So I appreciate you, family. That means so much to me coming from someone of your cloth and character. And I yeah, I mean, that's going to be something that I will remember for the rest of my life, family. Thank you.
Thank you. Salute. Thank
Salute to you, man. Man, so, you know, I want to go into the next song that and have you talk about this one. The next song that really resonated with me was The Good Life.
you. Ooh.
So I really want to know about The Good Life, how that came together, and the story behind it, and add some because all of these songs are so personal, and there's
Yeah.
so much wisdom and teaching behind it,
Thank
and
you.
there's so much you're really being vulnerable and you're getting some shit off your chest, and
Yes, sir.
working on your, as they say, your inner child or whatever your inner being, the person. It seems like this is the true, genuine you reaching
Yes.
out to the folks and putting it out there. And you are having a real hip hop moment. And I am so fortunate that you are sharing it fucking with me. Like, this is crazy. It's surreal. I've worked so hard I've put so much time and effort in this, and it just to be able to be here and hear you say that and have this opportunity means
man.
more than you could ever fucking imagine.
My man. Thank you.
So let's talk about it.
All right. So The Good Life. The Good Life was an idea that I had for a while. And it's funny, when I first wrote The Good Life, I wasn't in a good place, which is kind of ironic. And so fast forward, when Rhett gave me that track, I think he was kind of like nervous to give me that track. And I was like, no, that track right there means something to me. And I have something for that. I had the verses mapped out. I didn't have the chorus at all. What I'm doing there is talking about, and you said vulnerable, right? So I'm talking about some of my shortcomings growing up in this business, growing up in my personal life, and then letting people know how things are changing or have changed for me. And at the same time, knowing that I had to let go of a lot of people that I loved or were bumping heads with, regardless of what it was. Whether I was not having a good moment with a human being, or maybe we were great friends at one point, but it kind of like didn't have the strength to move forward. You have to come to terms with these things. And so in the first verse, I'm talking about that change, and I give the metaphor about can't be in high school forever, gotta graduate, different circle, different climate, time to acclimate. You have to be ready for change. I think a lot of the problem with just people in general is that, and they always say this, change is a very uncomfortable thing. For me, it isn't. For me, I embrace it. You could tell by the rock personas that I've had, the different rap personas that I've had. I've always embraced change and always dove into the pool head first a lot of the times without thinking about the change. Because I guess I've always been aware that change is it's a part of life, and we got to embrace the fact that change will happen. You and I will become old men, and we will be wrinkly, and things will be different, and we won't be able to move the way we move, and our kids will be grown-ups, and things will change, and I probably won't be living in this apartment. I'll probably be living somewhere else, and change. Well, I was a Brooklyn kid my entire life, and then now I'm in LA, and so change is a very big thing. And so that first verse embraces the whole concept of change. And then the second verse, I'm apologizing for sure. On this album, there are two instances where I apologize. It's The Good Life and It Only Leads the Way. It Only Leads the Way, on that song, I'm apologizing for following the crowd and writing a lot of specifically misogynistic lyrics. And I know I've disappointed some of my fans when I've replaced some of the Vengeance Is Mine lyrics, but I can't consciously live my life knowing that I said a lot of crazy things about women unnecessarily. Just thinking that, oh, I'm the cool guy, and it's like, nah. And then for going back to Good Life, I'm just apologizing for my behavior because I wasn't always on point, and I've messed up relationships just like any other human being had by being selfish or being thoughtless, careless. And so that's in the middle of that verse. I apologize straight up. I'm sorry for being an asshole. I'm sorry that I dropped the ball, really, sincerely. I wish I could be friends with everybody. I'm sorry. And so, but through changes, shine your light. We all want to live. So I even say it in the hook, the changes. We still looking for that good life. Yeah. And part of that change is looking at some of the things and apologizing as I'm changing. And that's how that whole song was birthed. And what's crazy is I don't think Rhett he knew that I could sing. He's heard the rock stuff, but I don't think he knew that I was going to sing on the song. So when he heard it, he was like, dude, you got to sing forever at the end. And I was like, all right, great. Because he was just like, I want that. I like that. I like that. And so it's one of my favorites of the album because it's I feel like it's an unexpected Q Unique song. It's something people wouldn't really expect from me. So that was cool too.
And I can tell you why it resonated with me is because I have had to go through so many changes in individually, and the conversations that I've had with my wife, the conversations that I've had with my children, and explaining, hey, you're gonna remember when you get older, me being like this, and this, but I have the opportunity while I'm here to apologize and explain the why and the reason why I do, and I'm explaining the why and sharing with you something that is absolutely embarrassing to me and I'm ashamed of. I want you to learn from it so you don't make the same mistakes. Or at least you're going to make mistakes, but understand that once you make the mistake, it's the repair work and the opportunity to take accountability for what it is that your actions have been, to be able to say, hey, I fucked up and I really didn't want to be like that, but this is what was going on in the moment, and I'm still not justifying what I did. I'm not saying that what I did was
it's not okay. Exactly.
It's not okay, but here's the why, and I apologize and I'm sorry.
Exactly. And that is genuinely what the song is about. That whole the way you just described it as well. And I would go further to say that I think that's one of the things that it was something that Crazy Legs said, because he went through it and he had told me hip hop needs therapy.
Absolutely.
Because there's a lot of things that we do out of habit because we think it's the right thing, but it's not. It's not. Ego is not a cool thing.
Nah.
It's not. It's not, because it twists and it distorts and it makes you dismissive and so that's just part of it. There's a lot of things, like for instance, me with the misogynistic, when I analyze that, I have to dig deep and say, why did I do that? maybe I was influenced, but you know, you look at your own life and you're like, what? How did I get there? And so that's where like Legs is right. It's like we all need therapy because we're street kids working with this very powerful form of communication. And for the most part, we've led a lot of people down the wrong path because we think it's the right thing to glorify a lot of this shit. And I still talk grimy shit, and I'm well aware of it. But I don't go too far where you're just like, damn, like, why'd you say that? I won't do that. I don't want to do that. And so, not grimy, grit. I use grit, street grit. But as far as shock value, I'm not there anymore. So
I feel you, because I think it's like you said, the change, because you're not in that environment. That's not where you are. I mean, when you are in that and you learn that parts of you that helped you survive in the situation at the time that you were, right? And at the time, at that time, that part was necessary. And for whatever it was that you were dealing with. But if you continue to hold on and carry it with you, it becomes maladaptive and it starts becoming bad for you. And
it gets dark.
You've got to really learn to set that aside.
And see what you just said? That's where the crossroad happened, because I had held on to that mentality for so long.
Yeah.
When I hit that crossroad and then Fieldy told me, you need to fix what's wrong with you. You need to fix what's wrong with you, Unique. That's what made me sit there and look at it and say, where did I go wrong? And then I started to see the patterns and I was like, oh my goodness, what a mess, you know? And then I cleaned it up.
Yo, so check it out, y'all. We getting ready to hear the one and only song called The Good Life. I hope you enjoy it as much as I do, and I hope you learn from it. So check it out, y'all. Here we go, The Good Life.
Yes, sir.
They told me let it be, so many memories, happy friends, angry enemies, time to let go, disentangle, disengage. It's at the end of the chapter, time to turn the page. Can't be in high school forever, gotta graduate. Different circle, different climate, gotta acclimate. Change is difficult, but I give it hope. Progress got me living on a bigger scope. Move to a new lane. Across the platform, I'm hopping on a new train. Y'all already know I don't like dwelling in the past. If the present is a gift, then the present's where I'm at. Change is calling, son, I hear you. Yesterday is looking clearer in the rear view. Had a lot of laughs, spent a lot of dough. Gonna miss you and I love you, but I gotta go. Through changes, shine your light. We all wanna live the good life. Through changes, shine your light. We all wanna live the good life. Self-inflicted wounds, I got this far. I'm tatted up to cover up the battle scars. Bad decisions, stabbed like jagged edge incisions. I ain't blaming no one else, I did it to myself. And I know that I hurt so many friends along the way. Gotta watch how I play. And I know that I said so many things that was wrong. Gotta watch what I say. And I'll admit, I've been guilty of some nonsense. Hurting you, I hurt myself in the process. I couldn't only take, I had to learn to give. Stop kicking down the ladder or trying to burn a bridge. I'd rather be a light in the world instead of a thug. I'm from Brooklyn, I'm supposed to spread love. I wish success, wish you the best, and God bless. And pardon if I ever did you wrong, I'm a work in progress. Through changes, shine your light. We all wanna live the good life. Through changes, shine your light. We all wanna live the good life. Through changes, shine your light. We all wanna live the good life. us. Shine your light. We all wanna live the good life.
Yo, again, you got to give it up. You got to
Thank
give it
you.
up. You got to give it up. That's a teachable moment, man. That's a teachable moment.
Thank you. Thank you.
Shine your
Shout out
light.
to Jerry DeLallo who mixed the album. I got to give him a shout out.
Oh, it sounds so good sonically too. Yes,
Thank you.
absolutely, fam. Like, and when I was even listening to, because, you know, I picked the tracks that I picked were kind of the down tempo ones, but they were very. If I'm being honest, like when I'm listening to, like, I love old school funk, R&B, soul, and I'm a ballads man. Like I've always connected, like, you know, with Baby making music, and also like music that is, you know, or like the blues where it has this pain, but it's pain that's like teaching you. It's giving you opportunity to learn if you actually listen to the message that's behind it. And there's a message in your music, to quote another Ohio group, the OJs. They had a whole album called Message in Your Music, and if you know your hip hop samples, that's the album that had Darling Darling Baby, which is the Fat Joe's, or not Fat Joe's, Big Pun's original. I'm not a player, I just crush a lot.
Ooh, yes.
So let me just take it all circle back to hip hop, because I know my shit. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm
all good. Did we lose the mic? Gotta love technology, man.
This stupid ass USB mic. I'm gonna figure out if it's the cable or if it's this mic, because it's pissing me off, man.
Yo,
I'm going
I
back.
know the
Look,
vibe.
you
I know
can't
the
beat an
vibe.
XLR. You know,
No.
just let me go ahead and get that XLR out and just be done with it.
Yeah. For
But yo, like, shout out to Pete Cade in the house. Thank you,
thank you, Pete.
Gorilla, and everybody that's here. You know, so in time, and I understand, I want to be respectful for your time. We're gonna start getting towards the end, and there's one more song that we're gonna share, but before we get there, what's the one thing that we haven't talked about in relationship to this album, in relationship to where you are in life at this moment, in relationship to your journey?
That's a dope question. It was
where
something...
are you at right now? Because I mean, it's important, because we just talked about changes, right? And you had to go through changes. And tell me, like,
I'm at a place. This is a dope question, because I was talking to Eric, who is the bass player for Mother Fuzz, the band project that I have, and I said to him, I'm in a place right now where I want everything to be organic. And I don't know if it's because of all the AI stuff or everybody going, you know, kind of like shooting from the hip on social media and all that. And there's so much information out there on YouTube and TikTok, and it's overwhelming. There's just a lot of visual stimulants. And I find myself in a place where I want to be organic with my craft, whether it's rock or hip hop. I don't want to scheme in order for people to listen to my music. I want people to love what I do because they're hearing something that they think is good. And I've returned to a very simple place. I remember starting my journey, and when you start in this, you kind of like with the big eyes, and I want to be a Madison Square Garden, and I want a private jet, and I want a tour, and now I'm in a place where I'm like, I just want to make good music organically and make people hear it organically, and I want people to love it from a real place. I don't want to force feed anyone. I don't want to impose on anyone. What's been beautiful about this album is that, and it goes back to the whole 4 clips and working with Rhett, is that every time we put out a clip, we would get somebody new looking at it, or not just one, but many new people looking at it for the first time. And their response was so beautiful that's when I told Rhett, it's like, this is the kind of vibe that I want. I just want to put it out there, not sell it, not tell you it's the hottest thing, not advertise it, not boost it, just put it there and let people respond naturally.
Yeah.
Let people connect naturally. I want that human connection to be real and organic. And I know I keep on saying organic. I just feel like we're looking at a lot of robotic and weird things that I'm not here to judge. You know, some people might adore AI and that's their life, and
It's a tool.
and it's a tool, and that's cool. I have no opinion of it. I just think that when you use it to create art, you're being, in my opinion, that's foul. I think that art is meant to, going back, and I think I might have said this on your show, Rakim, in his book, speaks about God consciousness.
Yes.
And God consciousness is where this antenna, basically, and God transmits the information to us as antennas, and we act on the information.
Yeah.
And so for me, it's been music. That my God consciousness, as well as Rakim's, is through the gift of music. So if my craft is coming from a supreme being, a higher source, from out of nowhere, then it has to remain organic and spiritual and soulful. If a computer's doing it, that's not God consciousness. That's a computer working out equations and math and things of that nature. Like you said, it is a tool. I could see it being used in the medical field or the corporate world or even in the industry as far as organizing business things or whatever have you. But the minute you're using it to craft your rhyme, the minute you're using it to craft your beats, me personally, that's a big no. That's not what art is. Art comes from from beyond, from a place that because I dare anyone to tell me if they could find the source of their lyrics. Oh, I came up with that. How? Tell me how. You could tell me practicing and all that. That's great. But when a good song hits, I agree with Rakim. That's God consciousness. That's coming from, like, The Good Life came from God consciousness. It just shot. You know, there's all right. Here's the best example. One of the most important songs I've ever written is on the Royal Blood album. It's called 133rd Song. It's about my brother who passed away. When I sat to write that song, here's the oddity of the song. Jake Palumbo gave me a folder of beats. I go through them, I pick that beat. And as soon as I put that beat on, those lyrics, I puked them out. That was that fast. I can't even explain it. It just happened. Blood Brothers, Fourth Zodiac, we love summer. Thor and Loki, one's chaos, one's thunder. Both with parachutes, one without a ripcord. One's a Jedi Knight, one of them's a Sith Lord. One's a cop, one's a robber. Don't quicken your assumption. Shit's twisted when it's fitted with corruption. One's a mama's boy, one will play the streets for love. One's an angry hawk, one of them's a peaceful dove. All of that was comparing me and my brother's relationship, our differences. We were opposites, but we were best friends. And so it just came out. And sure, you could say, oh, Q, you have 40 years experience and you've been rapping forever. Yeah, all that's fine. But to tell you that I sat there and read my bits, I'm going to write a song about my brother, that didn't happen like that. Yeah. I just sat, I heard the beat and just went, raw, and all of these words that described my brother happened. That's why I say You can't do that with a computer. You can't do that with a calculator. You can't do that with robots and things. You have to let the soul do what the soul is supposed to do in your said craft. So if you're nice with the interviews, let your soul lead that shit. If you're nice with carpentry, let your soul lead with that shit. The computer's there to help you sort out math problems and things that you probably can't quite figure out like I do. But as far as writing, like you said, you're vulnerable. The only way I'm going to be vulnerable if it comes from my soul. If AI had to be vulnerable for me, that shit ain't going to work. Ain't going to work. So, and again, it's no I think AI has its place. I think computers have their place. I think whatever, cars and shit, I think they all have their place. But when it comes to the arts, it has to come from the soul, man. You said it yourself, you love soul music. There's a reason. It comes from the soul. It comes from dudes that sit there and spew out these things that are coming from just a different place. And that's my whole thing with this, is like going back to, like you said, what do you want to get across? That soul, that organic, that I find so important. The hip hop groups that you and I love didn't have computers to write their shit.
Hell nah.
They had to sit there with
had
a
a
fucking
machine
pad. Right.
Yeah, they had to be creative with you only had 13 seconds to sample and do stuff.
Right.
You had to figure and look at what was happening.
Right. And to me, that's some of the best rap music you will ever hear in your life. Yeah. Is when Mother Necessity was in the room and dudes had to figure, when EPMD talks about how they recorded It's My Thing, they had a tape go out from the studio around the chair and around a pencil and come back around. That is soul in action. That's people making things happen without understanding machinery or asking a machine to do all the work for them. They had to figure it out.
Yeah.
Mother Necessity. And in this case, with this album, I just had to let my soul go. I had to be like, all right, it's time for me to speak from the soul.
Like you did on that album about your brother, which was therapeutic in a way. Did you feel like a weight was off your chest after you got done writing that song?
It was one of the most emotional. It's hard to describe because when I sent the song to Jake, his response was, man, I thought you were just gonna like pick another beat and just bar up, but you just went straight for the gut. And it was like, and I had to tell him, I was like, dude, I don't know what happened. It just appeared. I'm just the vessel. It was almost like my brother was like, you're gonna write about me on this shit, homie. And it just happened. And what's crazy is when I finished recording, I was crying. When I shot the video, I was crying. When I listened back to it, I was crying because it's like, this is one of the most authentic things I've ever done in my life. And I didn't even write it. I sat there, and because at this point, I don't really write much. I think about what I'm going to say, go to the mic, say what I'm going to say. And if I want to correct something, I'll sit back down. And for some reason, that God consciousness shit just really kicked in that day. It was wild.
Have you ever performed that live?
Yes.
How do you make it through it?
It's a tough one. It's one of the toughest. That song, I used to think the setup was going to be tough, but 133rd Psalm comes more from a loving place, where the setup, it comes from a place of sorrow. And 133rd Psalm comes from a loving place. I love, it was my actual younger brother. I loved my
blood.
Brother. Yeah, so it was, because he's not here, it's a place of missing someone. It's a place of not knowing. There's so many things that swim around, and then what I'm actually saying is so on point, even to me. I'm like, geez, this is hauntingly on point. Hauntingly. It's like, it's not even swerving around the subject. It's like going straight for how we were, and then the second verse tells you how close we were. And it's very accurate. Like the setup. The setup is a very accurate song. So when I first wrote that song, it was very hard to do because I'm like, man, I am really being vulnerable here because I'm telling you exactly what happened. This is not a joke. So
So if he was here today, right now, what would you say to him?
Oof. Like if he left and then came back, I wouldn't even know what to say. But if he was here the entire time,
Right.
I wish it was one of those things where you could flash ahead and feel what it feels like to not have him in the room and then rewind it and have him in the room. And that way, just like you said about when you came to terms with understanding, like you wanted those moments with your kids, I would be selfish enough to ask for more moments with my brother, you know, because he missed the whole ride with me in Corn. He missed Vengeance is Mine. He didn't miss Vengeance is Mine. He missed Between Heaven and Hell on. He missed the entire thing. He missed my son growing up. He missed so many things that he and I could have just enjoyed together. And so I probably just would have hung out more with him than I was already, you know, because you just, you know, another thing that I tell people, the cliche of life is short. I actually know for a fact that it is. And it's a painful reality when you know, you just hear it as a cliche and you just wait, yeah, life is short. But when you lose someone that close in age and that close in relation, you're like, wait a minute, hold up. Wait, you mean we don't all get to check out when we want?
Right.
Like he didn't ask to leave, you know? And so that's the other part of me that Rhett found fascinating, is that I'm relentless, which means that I don't fuck around with time a lot. I for the most part, I'm pretty on point with my craft and being with my family, and I don't disturb it. I'm a very disciplined person when it comes to that, and that's partly because of, you know, losing my brother. It was a crazy lesson. You know, he left behind 2 boys, his wife. You know, it was like a meteor hitting a planet. It was just like, okay, and it talk about changes. It changes the family dynamic drastically.
Yeah.
It just there's nothing is ever normal again. Nothing. It's never the same. And you know, thank you for asking that question, man, because it's also therapeutic for me to go through it, and every time I go through this, and that song now comes up a lot. Every time I go through this, you know, the song gets heavier and deeper for me, because you just realize all of these real life lessons happening with somebody's, you know, loss. So,
yeah, man.
Yep.
That's beautiful, and thank you for sharing and being vulnerable enough to share that, you know, because a lot of people have their ice grill on.
No doubt. Or yeah. there's a lot of people that, because the song itself is a popular song in my catalog, and it's because, just like the Setup and Father's Day, I write a lot of those, you know, hit you in the gut songs, because you know what set it off was the Setup. When we released the Setup, me and Bill, the response that it got was nuts. And at first I didn't understand. I was like, oh, I thought y'all would have went for the Hot 16 songs, you know? And everybody was like, no, the setup, Diamond in the Rough, all the songs about my experiences is what resonated with the people that listen to my music. And so what it did was it allowed me to go down that road for the entire length of where I'm at now, to even now when you listen to this album, whether it's the song that we just listened to, Good Life or Faith or whatever, I'm still coming at you with soulful definition and vulnerable moments, not only because I'm trying to tell you what happened to me, but because I realize, because of the Vengeance is Mine and the setup, that I've become a person that could speak for those that are not speaking, because that's what I always get is, thank you for writing something that speaks to me and speaks for me.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Dope. All right. So before we get into the last song, this is the final question that I'm going to ask you.
Yes, sir.
When you compare the man who first entered hip hop with the man behind QR code, where do you hear the clearest evidence of your growth, and what did life force you to unlearn before you reached this point? I wrote that question, the first question I asked.
Can you repeat it one more time so I could get all the
Yes.
components of it?
So when you compare the man who first entered hip hop with the man behind the QR code, where do you hear the clearest evidence of your growth, and what did life force you to unlearn before you reached this point?
That is an amazing question. If we're talking musically, when I came in this business, you know what's funny? When I first came in this business, I didn't even know what I was looking for or what I was doing. I was just following my heart and my passion.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy Legs Reed defined it for me. He told me what hip hop truly was, and I needed that. And unfortunately, the first person entering after that was a selfish, little too delusional, little too egotistical, and a little too shallow with what I was looking for. I was looking for the accolades and the plaques and the approval of radio DJs and magazines and all of these things. And what's funny is, when you fast forward, right? This question is dope. When you fast forward, all of those magazines are gone. Those radio stations don't matter. And platinum plaques are prehistoric. They don't matter. And I find myself now, I think the reason why I could say I'm having a real hip hop moment is because even though I consider the first Arsonist album a very real hip hop album by all means, but my mind wasn't right. I didn't fully grasp what that was. I kind of knew, but I didn't fully understand, because if I fully understood it, I would have nurtured it and taken care of it. But I didn't understand it. None of us did. I'm having a real hip hop moment now because I understand what I'm looking at now. I understand what my passion means to me and the people around me, whether it's my family or the people that support me. I understand my responsibility to it, which is why I cleaned it, which is why I took the misogynistic lyrics. With great power comes great responsibility, right, Spider-Man? So it's like, I understand that. And I'm in a better place, both personally and musically now. It took time to get here. It took that crossroad to really, really slap me in the face and say, hey, wake up. What are you doing? What are you doing? You know what the rules are. You know the codes. You know what the real deal is. You're why did I call it Royal Blood? Because, yo, I'm a dude that's from the Rocksteady crew in the Zulu Nation, regardless of some of the taint that some of the crew members might have, the bad stains that some of the crew members might have from those crews. What you cannot deny is their place in history, and I am a son of those things. So that puts me on a different place, responsibly, because of what those things were supposed to represent. So I'm in this better place, and I'm able to deal with people that listen to my shit with heart. So when a guy like Gorilla is asking me something, or they come on my little podcast on YouTube or whatever I have.
Your little podcast, my ass. Shut up. Don't even talk like that, fam. Come on, man.
Nah, it's, you know, I'm not Drink Champs, but you know, it's one of those things where it's like, I appreciate them. I don't take those people in the room for granted.
Yeah.
They're very important to me every week, because I look forward to sharing that hour, 2 hours with just the comment section.
Mm-hmm.
Because some of those people have been following me forever, and they'll say things or question things that make me think, and I can tell that there's a love for what I've done. And it's like, because of y'all, I'm still here doing this shit. You guys are more important than you would ever even imagine to me. Just like you are, Ghost. Just like you are. To be able to give you a whole album is not something that I do lightly. You're actually the only outsider I've given it to. I have not given it to Crazy Legs or Fieldy. They don't have it. Swell from the Arsonist doesn't have it. I understood the assignment. You're like, yo, we're going to do this. Then if we're going to do this, you need to have this. Because I know what I know what you're doing. You're informing people. You get up here all the time. You set up your set, plug in your mic, you interview people because you're informing people. Yo, there's more to this shit than y'all think you know. Let me introduce you to this guy. You don't know. Let me ask him some questions. And learn something. So for me, I don't take none of that. So as you can see, I'm in a different place, because the way I'm thinking now, I was nowhere close thinking like that when I was in the Arsonist, or the Nomads before that, or as Vengeance is Mine, Q Unique. It took all the way to like when I was just starting to do the pound for pound joint, which, you know, that's when Fieldy gave me the talk. Figure it out, bro. And so that wasn't even that far away. I'm just now starting to like, oh, I'm a mutant, and I have this responsibility, and I have this gift and this craft and this passion, and I want to do it right. And the minute I want to really do it right, I'm having a hip hop moment, and everybody that's around me is happy with this hip hop moment. So that means more to me than anything. And that's where I'm at now.
You know, what just popped in my head as you're talking about it was like, you know, having the opportunity to have time and having the opportunity to, you know, still be here and still share. And, you know, looking back just on for what you, I'm still speechless, and I don't know how to, I don't ever, I have a very tough time accepting any type of compliments or anything like that.
That's
so
that hip hop shit.
Yeah, man. Well, it's just, you know, for someone like you saying that is just fucking, yeah, speechless. But with each moment of time that I'm given and I'm blessed with, right? Like you said, there is a responsibility that comes with it.
Yes.
Because you're still on the earth for a reason.
Yes.
Right? Because everybody's had moments in their life where they were like, I don't know how I got out of that alive. Like this happened. Right? They attribute it to a guardian angel, they attribute it to a higher power, or they just attribute it to luck or whatever, right? Yes. But you made it through it, and you made it through those circumstances for a reason. But that reason, there's a responsibility that comes along with that reason. Yes, and sir. It's for you to learn, but it's also for you to share, for you to be able to bless other people with that knowledge, that wisdom that you came out of it with.
Yes, sir.
This album feels like it. I mean, so again, with just to say, y'all, if you don't support this man, and not just stream it, actually buy the album.
Thank you.
Buy it. support this man, because there is a tremendous amount of passion that's behind this and vulnerability, and this is a real fucking hip-hop album. So for y'all that was around in the 80s and 90s where you had to buy your shit and not steal it from Napster, buy this fucking album. And I'm cussing because I'm just trying to prove a point, and I'm still crass. But yo, so I want you to know that this last song hit me right in the right. It's how you end the album, and it hit me because I wasn't expecting to hear it. I wasn't expecting to hear the subject matter and what you talk about, and you don't get a lot of it, and you don't get a lot of this message in hip hop. And the way that this comes across and what you say, and I'm being vague about it because I want you to be the one that talks about it, and I want to know the why you ended the album off this way, and why you actually said what you said, and your feature with Sonny. Tell me all about this song. Tell them about this song. And because this song's the anchor. This is
Thank you.
Bam. There's a reason for it. So please.
You know,
I'm shutting up.
With a subject like this, you got to be very careful. Or you could have I don't care and I don't care attitude. I lean more towards being careful. And just as a disclaimer, I respect all people's walks of faith. I just do. That's just the way I'm wired. I've been around Muslims, Jewish people, Buddhists, agnostics, atheists. I respect everybody's, direction. My direction is that I believe in a supreme being. But through time, I just feel like what we're seeing and what we've been seeing is a lot of distortion when it comes to faith and the idea of faith, whether you're Christian or Muslim or Jewish or Buddhist or whatever, right? I just feel like there's a lot of distortion. I feel like I've been guilty of taking a Bible scripture and messing it up and twisting it in a way that probably served me more than it served mankind itself. And so knowing this is part of what you said, the responsibility of getting a message out like this, especially with a guy like Sonny, who basically his entire catalog is based on this type of a message. And I just wanted to give my perspective on my walk. And part of it was, me personally, I have a hard time with the word religion and the way it's been distorted, especially lately, where I feel like some people are using Christ like a mascot, some sort of political mascot. And it's like, not sure I've seen that in the Bible, but
you do. It's in Revelations at the end.
Right. But you know what I mean? Like not, but there's no instruction to use them that way.
No, it's when you see it happening the way it's happening right now, it should raise your antenna.
Yeah. And so that was one of the things that kind of like tapped me on the shoulder, like, hey, you seeing what you're seeing, right? It's like, yeah, maybe I probably should say something based on my perspective. Now, the other disclaimer is what I want to say is this is my perspective. And what I mean by that is I don't have the ego to go out there and say, my perspective is the perspective you must all follow. That's not That's not my angle at all. I'm just saying something from my perspective, and if you agree, beautiful. If you have a problem with it or a question, I'm here to have that conversation respectfully. But I think, especially if someone like you is like, this is an anchor, it's like, of course, now you're making me realize how important something like this is at a time like this, because what we're seeing is bizarre.
To say the least.
At times sacrilege and really dark. And so working with Sonny, I was like, again, just like with Pharoahe and Ras, it's like, you're not going to ask Sonny Sandoval from POD to rap about the streets or to rap about how fly he is. That's illogical. To me, you're going to ask Sonny Sandoval to speak, rap some along the lines of where I'm at. And he did. He actually held his own. He actually came with it. And so, you know, I don't do a lot of songs like this. This is another thing. Here's another thing. I don't do, in recent times I have. It started, and it's crazy because it started with a moment that I had with Fieldy writing for the Stillwell album. We were writing for what I think is the best Stillwell album, is Supernatural Miracle. And we were writing for it. And one day he came down in the studio, and I'm sitting there ready to write. I got the guitar on my fucking lap. And he sits down and he's all energetic, which is abnormal for him because he's mostly like a very chill, moving guy. And he goes, last night I had a dream. Today, we got to write a song about Jesus. And when he said that, I was terrified. I was looking at him like, you're bugging right now. You better go back to wherever you came from and change your mind, right? But I didn't say that. I was just more scared because I'm like, hey, man, this is a very sensitive subject. You just don't write this stuff. You don't just blurt out this. I respect. Some people don't. I do. The same way I wouldn't write a song about Muhammad or Moses or anyone. I wouldn't, I respect it. I'm not an authority, man. So when he said it, I was full of fear. And I'm sitting there rocking back and forth. And just like with and this is where it gets creepy. Just like with the song 133rd Psalm, he said it. I got scared. I shut my mouth. I sat back. And within 10 minutes, both verses puked out of me. I can't even explain how that happened because I didn't even want to do the song. I was against the idea. I thought it was way too risky. And it happened. And it became one of the more popular songs for Stillwell. So fast forward, I've done a few questioning my faith for Mother Fuzz. And then we get to that song, Faith, where I'm actually head on taking on the subject of how my perspective is on this. This is how I see it. I believe in an almighty supreme being, walking the straight and narrow path with deep meaning. And then you'll hear the rest of the song, but it's like, now you're getting tidbits of how I see this.
Man, yeah, so what we're going to do is that's going to be our end credits. We're going to ride out just like the song rides out to this song. It's something, again, that whether and whatever your beliefs are or whatever, there's wisdom in the words and there's wisdom in the teaching. And this entire album, again, it releases Friday, but you'll have an opportunity to listen to it in its entirety on Thursday if you tap in with Q Unique and let's have a listening party. And I'm just so grateful that you blessed me with the opportunity to do this. And this episode has meant more to me than you ever could imagine. And
thank you, man.
It was such a surprise that the way this came together, that it's only a God thing. You know, it's only one of those things that happens for a reason. And
Yes, sir.
You, sir, this album's amazing, and
Thank you.
you are a dope individual. You
Man.
absolutely should.
Thank you.
Your place in hip hop should be talked about just as much as the other artists that get vomited nonstop, right? And you have an ill catalog, and your diversity too, in regards to, yes, you not only you are a b-boy, you do rock, you've done graffiti, like you've done it all. You've done all the hip hop and more, and you've got a podcast and all of that stuff. So if you could give everybody your mathematics and all of that, and let them know where to follow you, when you're going to be on next, all of that stuff, where to go, etc.
Just the easiest. Just hit up qunique.com. It has, excuse me, it has the tabs to everywhere from Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, everything. Just hit up q-unique.com. That's the headquarters. That's the hub where everything is. You could see all the podcast episodes, all the music videos, hear the music. You know, all the links are there. It's the easiest way to get at me. And I had just to say for the future, thanks to everybody for listening to this album. It was definitely a work of love for me and Rhett, and just thank you for everybody for the constant support. Thank you. I truly appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, man. Like, salute. Make sure you follow Q Unique, the script, the words.
It's all good.
It's in the description to this episode for you guys, running it back on the replay on YouTube, and all the other episodes on B-Boys Underground, or at B-Boys Underground on YouTube, plus GhostBoogie 66 on Twitch and Kick. And as I always say, keep it positive, keep it pushing, keep persevering, stay in the present, not in the past. Don't let it kick your ass, but learn from it. And don't trip on the future. I've died twice, and both times all the shit that I was worrying about didn't matter when they woke me up, and I rode the lightning back like Thor. And was like, welcome back, Mr. Boogie. You were gone for 2 to 4 minutes, depending on which episode. But I'm here to say that this has been amazing, and just do the best you can with the time that you got.
Yes, sir.
And appreciate the shit that you got, and not worry about the shit that you don't have.
Yes, sir.
So, as we say, Rollo, and from my city to your world, make sure you follow my family, City World Media Group. Go to cityworldmedia.com. You can check out me streaming live there whenever we're on, and of course, a bunch of the other ill podcasts. It's a network of dope, divergent content creators. Shout out to my friend and brother Black North, and shout out to Serene Solutions. And we're gonna end off with this song, and we out, y'all. Rollo, peace out. I'll see you tomorrow, because we'll be back on tomorrow and Thursday night too. So we got 2 more episodes. It's been a 4-episode week. Boogie hasn't slept at all, but fuck it. We do it. All right, y'all. So this is the song called The Good Life, y'all.
No. Faith. It's called Faith.
Yes, I'm sorry. Yes. Thank you, Faith. Faith featuring Sonny. It's like, man, I'm kind of like, woo. This whole episode's been surreal to me, fam. So here we go, y'all. Much love. We out. Peace.
I believe in an almighty supreme being, walking the straight and narrow path with deep meaning. I believe for non-believers the gates of heaven are clearly far, and the 10 commandments show how imperfect we really are. I have faith the size of a mustard seed, and plus I must believe that God is just, and I trust He'll lead. Scripture's open, but I don't have religion. Religion is the arithmetic operation of division. I believe in the power of prayer and my sins forgiven, and thank God, cause I'ma continue sinning. I believe some things can't be explained, so I have faith in my heart instead of a theory in my brain. I believe in the afterlife and the Bible's revelation, and fighting the Antichrist, the real final destination. I believe that I can make you a believer and save your soul from Satan the deceiver.
Close my eyes on time and space, getting by on the vibe, my waves. Raise your hands to the sky, raise them to the moon's eye.
I can admit I've been that man to cast the first stone. How can I remove the speck from your eye when I got a plank of my own? A hypocrite who's guilty of a sinner streak, free falling off the devil's peak and too angry to turn the other cheek. A known combatant who battles with life's entrapments, who will eventually and gradually break all of the 10 commandments. A reenactment of all of my evil habits, so I'm adapting to my consequences, owning up to all of my actions. I wash my hands, humble myself and seek repentance, count the cost of my confessions, feeling lost with all these questions. But I'd rather seek answers than take chances, recognize my situation and grab hold of my circumstances and lay it down into the hands of this man I am asking. And won't look back to the past, cause my future is everlasting. And not to mention the miracle of my redemption, it's beyond my comprehension that even I can be forgiven.
Close my eyes on time and space, getting by on the vibe, my waves. Raise your hands to the sky, raise them to the moon's eye. Close my eyes on time and space, getting by on the vibe, my waves. Raise your hands to the sky, raise them to the moon's eye.
Cause the fake is being capped. Cause the fake is being capped. Cause the fake is being capped. Cause the fake is being capped.
Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, share, follow. From my city to your world. We are City World.
I had to come back one last time. From my city to your world, it's City World. And thank you, Gorilla. Thank you to everyone that's been in this journey with me. And most importantly, thank you to Q Unique for this amazing episode. And this is one that I'm going to remember for the rest. So y'all have a good one. We'll be back tomorrow night. Same B-Boy channel, same B-Boy time. I'm GhostBoogie. I appreciate each and every single one of y'all. Love.